So the reason I feel that money isn't worth chasing as hard as some people do is that it's an unbacked currency. We don't have a gold standard or anything. It's a completely imaginary system. Anyone can make up however much money they want if they're good enough with computers. And another thing is, somebody can work in the same profession as me, right? And make millions of dollars when I don't make thousands. And they're working either the same hours or less hours than me, right? So at what point am I supposed to look at money and say trading that for my time is a good deal? Because anyone can change that system at any time and fuck me over. Now, no one can take my plans. No one can take my happiness. They can fuck with me as much as they want, and they try. But I mean, try taking something from somebody who has nothing.
So you feel, let's get into some therapy stuff here.
Yeah. All right, yeah.
I got deep. My goodness, what's going on here?
Let me lay down.
Yeah, we can help you. I can make you into a money
chicken?
person. Yes, or something, whatever. Money generating chicken. It sounds like you feel that having no money keeps you safe and nothing. I've got nothing. I got nothing to lose, like Bob Dylan said. So it's almost as if there's a fear of loss that you don't want to take a chance of having that loss.
That's what I heard too.
Okay.
Yeah, I heard the same
That
thing.
is an interesting rewording of it, but I just don't agree with it. I just don't. The fear of loss is not what motivates me not to gain. It's the lack of value
In money?
in money.
Okay.
So,
You can buy a sushi roll that'll make you smile and full for a minute, but you can't buy a good experience. Something that will stick with you for the rest of your life and change who you are outright. I mean, you can't just purchase that.
So let's bring this to something that I think we all agree on is maximizing our time, maximizing our output, maximizing our lifestyle and our help for people, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And or our environment around us, whether that's culturally, socially. I mean, you've got an environmental bend to you, yeah?
Yes.
So
Very much.
So let's talk about your net output, both of you, right? And you spend a decent amount of your time on marketing, right? On marketing strategies. I'm talking to marketing teams.
Yeah. We have a team that handles that. We have other companies that market my stuff that also have their own teams that handle it.
Sure.
So very little of it is stuff that involves me. In fact, they prefer me to stay out of it and to stay on the production side.
Okay.
But I do have some production meetings or some marketing meetings.
How much in terms of big picture thinking strategy are you part of in terms of your business planning?
Well, again, we divide it up. We divide it between marketing and production, and I'm in production. So I'm not, we decided this years ago just so everyone can get along better, so that they handle the majority of that. Every now and then they'll ask me, like recently we did a deal with one of the Shark Tank guys and had to bring me in because there's an actual contract that needed to be signed. So I had to be consulted about how I felt about that. But after that, it's hands-free. I'm not dealing with that. And he came to my home and we filmed, and that was my part. And I went to his studio in Florida, but I built that into part of a vacation also. So very little of my time is spent with marketing, actually. Well, sometimes it'll be a lot more. Like, next week I'll be in New York and we'll be doing a lot of stuff. This week I'm doing hypnothoughts.
Right.
So sometimes it goes way up. But my goal is never to make more money at this point. Now I can say that as a millionaire. It's easy for me to say, like, I don't need any more money, but I do feel that way. I feel like I have enough money. I feel like if I'd never made any more money, I'd be comfortable the rest of my life. And so I'm happy with that. So it gives me the ability to kind of be like you and kind of be like, I don't care about money. I'll just kind of do what I want.
It's almost a story. There's the story of I can't remember. I'm guessing Mexican and an American, and the American says, why are you fishing and just feeding your family? You could fish for the whole town, make a bunch of money, and then go home and play with your kids and play guitar and do all this stuff because you could retire. And he was like, yeah, but I could just eat the fish and then go home and play with my kids and play guitar.
So here's what's interesting, right? I mean, because both of you guys are saying, I have the amount I want to feel safe.
Yeah.
And you're both saying, I love the lifestyle I have.
Yeah.
And I love the people I help.
Hell yeah.
and I feel good about my decisions,
Yeah.
right?
Also.
So let's make this about neither of you for a minute, okay?
All right.
Let's make this about the people who are watching this. Because people who are watching this are, I mean, you guys are on opposite ends of the spectrum,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Most of the people who watch this won't be. They'll be somewhere in the middle, more like me,
Yeah.
right? So convince them to be like you.
Okay, what you got?
Why should they be like you? Why should they? I'm middle-ish, right?
All right.
I think I'm closer to Steve's side than middle, but I think I'm pretty middle-ish.
All right.
Why should I be like you instead of like Steve?
Because who you are is very temporary. You're going to have experiences that change you every 5 years. The money that you make now can help you in 5 years, but the experiences you have now are for now. And for 27 years, I've lived a life that excites me and I learned from it. And at no point have I had to slow down because of money. Not that that's an accusation, of course, but I feel like what I have is a direct route to being what I want to be. It's not an indirect route that can help me get to something else. Why would I go to Walmart and buy something that an artisan can make me for the same price?
Okay. Why should I be like you?
Well, you won't have to shop at Walmart, and you won't have to go to nursing. You get the top of the line stuff all the time.
Sure.
No, I actually embrace a lot of what you say. So with my philosophy, if you could become like me,
Right.
You can have all that, and you can also have strong financial backing, so that if anything does go wrong, if something does come up that you need to deal with, and it's going to take money, illness or wanting to move somewhere, or a friend needs help, or who knows what, the money's there. And that's the one thing that I would feel very nervous every day about if I were you. And I've been in your situation. I've been in the situation where I was like a broke college kid, I guess, is the closest I've come to that. But yeah, I've been there, and I didn't like it because I always felt like, what if something happens? What if this happens? I didn't feel safe. I also didn't, ego-wise, I also didn't feel like I had achieved everything that I could achieve. So if you come to my side, Scott,
Yeah.
you're gonna have a lot of money to fall back on a rainy day.
I like that.
And it can rain for a long time, and you'll be high and dry the whole time. You will still have all of the benefits that he has. You'll have all the travel. In fact, from what I heard, I work about a third of what he works.
So we've got people who want to help others, right? And they're
Yeah.
watching this because they care about helping others. They want to be more effective in their lives in a lot of ways. A lot of them, because of who's going to be watching this, are hypnotherapists or hypnotists.
Yeah.
But a lot of them aren't. You just said you feel safe with the lifestyle you have, and you just said you feel safe with the lifestyle you have. And that's great. And this is about more than just survival and safety, right? This is about
Right.
feeling excited about your life. And you both said that too, right? So you're both excited about your life, you both feel safe, and you both recognize the lifestyle is pretty similar, surprisingly, right?
So again, it must come to priorities or something on that base level.
Keep drilling. There's got to be
There's
something.
got to be something.
If you
I
got-
don't know what it is.
Okay.
So let's play this. The three of us are in a room right now, right?
True. This is a good game.
We both,
So
we
far,
all
so good.
agree. Yes,
We
so
agree
far.
on that. Yeah.
Good. So we all agree that we're articulate, fast-thinking guys that are sincere in our beliefs
Yeah.
and our desire to make an impact on the people we care or our immediate world, right?
So far, so good.
Do you think that your way is necessarily better than the other guys?
No.
Yes.
Okay. You think your strategy is necessarily better than Adam's at helping people?
Not at helping people, no.
At what then?
At I probably won't end up being like a ward of the state at any point.
Sure.
I won't need the help of someone else. You potentially could, because of not having that financial backing that I was talking about. So you could, in your attempt to be free and help people, end up becoming dependent upon someone else and having to impose upon them. For me, it's far less likely. Could happen, but it's far less likely.
What do you think of that?
There is no person that lives alone. Everybody's contingent upon anyone else. I would never consider myself self-sufficient, although everything that I've done professionally, I do myself. I do the editing, I do the writing. Every bit of it is me. because I own it and I'm proud of it. I would never say that anyone should have to go through my lifestyle, because I admit that it's only good for people like me, people who love this kind of life. That's it.
See, I love this because obviously neither one of you is going to change the other one's mind, right? And no one walked into this room thinking Steve's going to give away all his stuff, or Adam's going to take a whole bunch of marketing classes and optimize his website, right? We all know that, but we can share these ideas for the sake of just hearing our challenging each other's beliefs and challenging our own beliefs, because that's where growth comes from.
Yeah.
And in that growth and in that education, other people can be challenged as well, because there are people somewhere in the middle like me who want to hear why Steve says it's okay to be rich and why Adam says it's okay to not be rich.
Well, between the thought and the action falls the shadow.
Okay, what's that mean?
That means, all right, so between Steve and I can definitely fall a very successful, wonderful life.
Is that Scott?
If he wants
Is
to
he
be.
the shadow?
If he wants
I'm
to
the
be.
shadow, yeah.
All
You're the
right.
shadow of us. No,
It's
between...
cold in your guys' shadow over here in the corner. Yeah, I'm just down here.
No, and in between us too, there is definitely tons of happiness that can be had for anyone who chooses to take it up. Anyone who's looking for a career in hypnosis, though, is going to have their own priorities. And if your priorities are based on motivating your life in the same ways that Steve is talking about, then you should go for Steve's approach. But if you're a hippie, if you're ideological and that's how you're driven, then you should go for something more like me. There also is a very ideological version of me that wants to make money. I'm just not it.
I have a feeling, because you said you're 27.
Yes.
I'll be 50 next year. So
Okay.
I'm 48, I'll be 49 this year, I'll be 50 next year. I think that's a big part of it too. I think maybe
Could be.
priorities change, because I'm almost double your age.
Yeah.
And so I think that we'll check in with you in 20 years and see.
I
if you
heard
still
someone
think that way.
say if anybody who isn't a socialist at 15 is a monster, and that person should become a Republican by the time they're 50. And it's an interesting idea.
Yeah.
And that's what you're saying, basically. I mean,
Yeah. As a Republican, I'm saying that. I'm not voting for the current situation, but
Well, as a reader, I will quote Tim Leary, and that you're only as young as the last time you changed your mind.
there you
That's
go.
good.
I do it every day,
There you go.
and I'm willing to change my mind at any point if my priorities change. I just don't expect them to anytime soon.
And that's what this conversation is about coming in with the idea of being exposed to new ideas and exposing others to conflicting ideas, because education comes from that balance, right? And giving the people watching this the opportunity to hear both sides objectively, fairly, and respectfully. Are there any pieces that we didn't cover that we need to hit?
I think it might be good, Adam, if you've got anything on this, if you could just say what you personally feel is so wrong about, maybe not me personally, but my perspective. Like what really, like, you look at it, you're like, that's just, I don't like that.
It is building value around something that could build value around my life, when I could just be directly building value around my life.
Like
I could
fishing.
You think there's an
Fishing,
unnecessary
yes.
step?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
There's an unnecessary step of buying your life. Now, there is something to be said about being dependent on other people. I've certainly had to do that. On the other hand, having money and being dependent solely on myself never afforded me as much value in life, because the relationships I had were richer, because our experiences were more charged.